Welcome to Kind of Comics, Games and Collectibles, your zen of geekism. We carry comics old and new, magazines, toys, games like Pokemon, Magic, D&D. Want Godzilla, Ultraman, Star Trek, Ninja Turtles, Funko Pops? You'll find it all here. Shop our Cosmic Sound Room and pick up a record or two. Enjoy our Comic Coffee Lounge with a cup of Sasquatch coffee or a delicious menu item while geeking out over a super cool movie on our big screen. Come by and say hello to Maui. Cosmic Comic, Games and Collectibles. Superman loves us, and so will you.
Hi everyone, Daphne Lage here. Join Nita Lanning and me on the Ragin' 2 The Vlogs show, where we talk about everything, nothing, and all the bits in between. Looking for hour-long conversations about indie comics, social media marketing, and crowdfunding, with the occasional rant and story time? Head on over to the Ragin' 2 channel on YouTube, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern to join in the chat.
Hit the button.
Ed Gein, Demon Hunter, on Indiegogo. After a deranged demon escapes the bowels of hell, Satan is forced to send a damned soul back to Earth as a demon hunter. Armed with a sacrificial dagger, Ed returns to his old stomping ground to capture the demon before the universe is destroyed. Ed Gein, Demon Hunter. Issues 1 and 2 available now on Indiegogo. Prepare for the ultimate face-off.
And good evening, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com, Chief Envelope Licker for Critical Blast Logistics, yada, yada, yada. You know the drill. You've been here before. Tonight, we are going back into the world of crowdfunded comics, and it's okay, guys. This is a night you can sit your wallets to the side. You don't need to pull the credit card numbers up. There's no live campaign yet. This is pre-campaign promotion for a new book coming out from New Take Media. And to tell us all about it, we have Damien with us tonight. Damien, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
You know what?
There you go.
I'm one swallow better than I was when you asked.
Yeah, man. You got to kick back and, drink one once in a while.
It is, the day is over. The night has officially begun.
That's right.
So, first of all, I'm going to ask you not why. I'll ask you why later. But
okay.
Where the name New Take Media comes up with. I mean, I get it, but I want to know what your thoughts were when creating it.
So we went through a lot of names, right? Well, I went through a lot of names, I should say. So I went through a lot of names.
I understand that. I say we all the time.
Yeah.
It's the corporate we.
Exactly. But no, essentially I was going through all these names, and most of them were like way too ridiculously long to remember. So it's like, people never remember this. So I was like, okay, what is simple but cool at the same time, and what fits the theme of everything? And New Take is the idea of like, there's a new take on everything. It's pretty self-explanatory. New take on films, new take on comics, new take on games. And that's essentially where I got the idea for the name New Take Media, and because it's simple and easy to remember, I would say.
That makes perfect sense, and I like it too. It's like we're gonna do something new here that you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Now the book we're looking at tonight is World of Killers. Is this your first book, or have you done others so far?
Nope. The first one I did was Grandpa. That one funded, and this book is actually connected to that universe. So,
okay.
If you did get that book, yeah. No, that book was successful. We got it out to everyone. So everyone who bought it, I mean, I already updated them anyway. But anyone who bought it, make sure to check this one out because you'll find little hints to the connected universes.
All right, and I'm gonna quickly share the screen here so that people can see how you're doing this when you're not doing a pre-launch on Indiegogo or Kickstarter, using the MailChimp page, right?
Right, yeah. So the reason I'm doing that is because essentially, while Indiegogo is a little more direct, and I like that, this helps keep people on my mailing list where they can learn about everything else we make, because we don't just make comics. So I want people to know about the short films I'm making, the game stuff I'm going to start showing soon. So that's why I would rather them be on this so they can see everything. You know what I mean?
Okay. So you're not a comic publisher, you're multimedia.
Yes, we are. Yep. It's we just finished I just finished filming the Akumu short film, which is one of the horror stories that is in this horror anthology. So we finished that. I'm pumping that out. The sound design's pretty intense. You have to make sure it's perfect, especially in horror, because that's a huge element of horror is sound design in movies. So
it absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it a bone saw on a violin. That whole thread that they just hold, that just builds the tension up. Alejandro, good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in the chat here.
What's that?
Interesting that you talk about horror and short films, and you just finishing one up.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with Hart Fisher?
No, I'm not actually.
Okay, well, Hart Fisher, he did some comics in the late 80s and early 90s and made a lot of television appearances because it was about Jeffrey Dahmer, which back then apparently was a huge deal if you were to do something like that. It was like he was basically called the devil of the comic book world because he did that. Yes, Ali. Actually the beard's been trimmed up, so it was much longer earlier. But Hart right now runs AmericanHorrors.net, which is a 24-hour streaming of classic horror movies that you can just watch for free online. And next weekend is the American Horrors Film Festival, where all the people who make short films like you have done show their stuff off and get slotted in there. But the real reason I bring it up is you saw that Ed Gein trailer that we ran at the beginning here. That is also running as an advertisement spot on AmericanHorrors.net to his 2.2 million subscribers. And we are doing that as a test market to see what it would be like to market a comic book, not directly to comic book fans because they're buying them anyway, but to horror fans.
Yeah, no, I think they definitely have an interest in horror. I mean, geeks in general, like us geeks here, we like a lot of people. I will say this though. Because when I marketed my, I'm known more as a comic guy right now on Twitter because that's the main, those have been the main forefronts that I've been showing so far. So when I tried to crowdfund the film, which we got money either way, I was gonna do it no matter what. So any money helped, but it was a lot harder because I didn't have that film fan base. But once you build both, you can truly connect it because as geeks, most people like both. I would say if you look at Marvel movies, that's the greatest example.
Oh yeah,
it's both. So both comic fans and movie fans I
can definitely see I can definitely see the reticence in crowdfunding because okay, he's made some comic books. They've been okay. I like them. They got a good beat. I can dance to them and give them a 9. But he's never made a movie before, and what makes him think he can make a movie?
Yeah.
So getting that first one out, sort of like when we published our first book, was very hard to get anthology submissions in. Second book, I had over 175 submissions came in because they're like, oh, they actually do it. They actually pay.
Yeah.
We'll give it a shot. So now that you've got your first movie crowdfunded, I would expect that when you do the next one, you'll have a much faster accumulation of funds through the crowdfunding.
That's true. And also, like, we're planning on putting it on YouTube, so I think that'll help build up the audience on the YouTube channel as well. Because I did do one short before, but that wasn't crowdfunded, so, you know, they couldn't see evidence of it on the crowdfunding. I just uploaded it to YouTube and called it a day. That one actually, surprisingly, even though it was one of our earliest videos, got like 13,000 views now. And I was like, all right, well, for like my you know, channel that just started up here, that's pretty good. So I'm assuming Akumu will probably do pretty well because it has like better lighting, better everything essentially.
Now, since they're all following under the New Take umbrella, are your movies and your comics connected in any way, or is it just a different?
Yeah, so the short film Akumu is, which we'll see in a bit, is connected to one of the stories in the comic. So one of the comic stories is an Akumu storyline. Like Akumu is one of the characters in the book. So this film is essentially a prequel to this comic. But this comic is also connected to the Grandpa universe. So they all come together because I just like that. I don't know. I like stuff that comes together like that.
Is that going to be true for your games? Because you mentioned you were going into, I'm assuming, RPGs.
Yeah, how'd you know? Yeah. Yeah, no, I am actually. The games are connected. I can't say how right now, but I will say the game is a horror game, and it does have RPG elements like dialogue options.
Okay, yeah. So this is not necessarily a tabletop then, but a video?
No, yeah, so it's going to be a first-person type of horror game just to immerse you in the horror, but it's going to have, I don't know if have you ever played like Fallout New Vegas? Have you played that?
No.
Okay. Well, essentially
I'm familiar with the Fallout universe, but I've not played.
Same thing as that essentially. Like you'll have the dialogue options that are like that essentially.
Yeah, the closest I come is watching my son play the Mario Odyssey thing and stop and talk with NPCs, and I'm sure it's going to be much darker than that.
Oh yeah, no question.
So, what are we looking at then with World of Killers? And all I've got is the sign-up sheet here. So if you want to share anything here, throw it on over, and I will pop it up here.
All right. Would you like me? Hold on one second.
Meantime, folks, if you click on that link to sign up for the mailing list to be alerted to stuff, it will not take you away from the video. You can sign up and still listen to us. No credit card required. You're just saying, hey, here's the email address where I want you to send notifications about this book's launch.
One moment.
Damien has been doing protection.
This thing is lagging here. Don't worry about it. It's probably because I'm streaming.
Just you got dark on you there, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hello, Woody. Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you back here.
Just sent it. Let me know if you got it.
It's not showing up yet. Are you screen sharing or are you link sharing?
I'm link sharing. Hold on. I'll just do a screen share for you guys. That'd just be easier. Share screen. Okay. 1 second. Here we go. All right. Can you guys see this?
You can now. Nice.
All right. So this is we'll start with my boy here, Killaquokka. Okay. So this anthology, this horror anthology, it has a range of different stories, from comedic horror to psychological horror. So it gets really dark and really goofy and B-movie horror tier really fast. And I also have a variety of artists on here. So as you can see, this story here has more of like a that's not zoomed in. I just realized on your end.
I was gonna say we're just looking at the thumbnail, so
I just realized that. My bad. Hold on one second. Let me see how I can. I'm just gonna do this real quick. Share.
Share.
1 second.
Yes.
There we go.
3B, you're right. Comedic horror is tough to pull off well, but
Oh.
Scream did it. So
Yeah, no, it's difficult. So it definitely is hard. It's a challenge.
It's a cute little mouse. It smiles.
Well, he looks like a mouse here, but this is a quokka, right? These are like Australian. So these are like
You said Australian. Everything alive in Australia that's not a human being, and then half of them will kill you.
Exactly. That's why it fits so well. So as you can see here, it's more of a manga style. So
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
yeah, and I was like, let me get these weeb fans in here. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A bunch of these weebs, and I like manga style anyway as well. So I was like, I want to try it anyway.
I'm convinced that that's why all these other comic books that are out there that have absolutely nothing to do with manga, they're like, and if we get $5,000 to the stretch goal, here's a chibi sticker. I'm like, yeah, okay.
No, yeah, that's 100% what it is. Like people buy that like crazy. It sounds like hotcakes.
Yeah, it's like I just got in. I got to sort through all today's mail. Carl Kiesel and David Hahn did the next Impossible Jones book. It's a superhero story. It's actually not. She's a thief, but everyone's mistaken her for a hero, so she lets them think it, including the heroes. But what comes with it? A sheet of chibi stickers.
Of course, it's got to have it. It's got to have it. And I actually have a Quokka sticker as well for you guys. So that's pretty cool. So you got to have the stickers. You got to have the stickers.
Gotta have them. Space for stickers, but my whole table and refrigerator are plastered with them now.
There you go. Like you could put them on anything you want, so you always remember it.
Yes.
But yeah, so here, as you can see, he starts out kind of serious, with the narration, and these are letters by Eric Weathers, by the way. So
go with the pro.
Of course, you got to go with him, the man, the myth, the legend, and he starts out. So this whole storyline, every single storyline, and every bit of writing I do essentially deals with a philosophical conflict of some kind. So the character's beliefs are clashing with other beliefs. So in this, it's sort of the idea of like animal life versus human life and that whole debate, and that's kind of the idea that we're going with if you want to get deeper here. But on the surface, it just seems like your stereotypical like B-movie, funny, fun little goofy horror story. But
Studio 38 says that Quokkas are the least horrifying things on earth. It's the perfect cover.
That's why I chose it. I was like, all right.
I'm still waiting for a horror movie that shows the attacks of the axolotls, the little fish tadpole things that are smiling at you the whole time. And Woody Mueller says he's expecting a drop bear at any time here. So I had to ask Michael Bancroft what a drop bear was because I had no clue, never heard of them. Infinity wants to know on the logistics side of this, the people who worked on this comic, did they get paid already for their work, or will they only get paid if you fund asking for a friend?
No, I never pay my people. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I pay. No, why would you? It's slave labor, man. Come on.
Yeah, schemes and scams. That's the name of the game.
That's the way to go, dude. It's how you get going. No, but I pay them beforehand, and then here's what I will say. I think I know what he's asking because he's paying for his whole book before he gets funded, which is a good idea, but I'm in a rush. So I don't know. I see, since I do so many different forms of media, I feel like I have to like pump these out. Otherwise, like I'm like falling behind kinda. And I know it's going to cause like people would have to technically wait for the artist to finish it. But since this is an anthology and there's so many different people working on it, and I have a separate colorist for it too, they're going to be able to do work simultaneously all at once. So it's not just one artist doing the whole thing, so it takes longer. They'll get it done pretty quickly. And then,
each artist is only taking, 6 to 8 pages for a story. Usually that's what an anthology book will be consisting of, then yeah, they can kick out the rest of it pretty quick. It's that team effort, you know. You got multiple artists working on a few pages to get done faster.
I also have two letterers. So one of my letterers is Eric Weathers, and then my other one is his name is Letters. Like he calls his company Letter Squid, essentially. So yeah,
very nice. Yeah, it's the whole thing of, you know, if one woman can have one baby in 9 months, and then 9 women can have one baby in 1 month, right?
Exactly.
And that is, of course, Ollie's context here. People talking about, you know, paying everything up front. Okay, this is a drama-free stream. No, hasn't paid anyone they haven't paid anyone. Well,
that's pretty
yeah,
bad.
no, that's not cool. That's not cool. Somebody, and you're like, okay, this is great, but you know, I can't pay if we don't get funded. No. That's what the artist says.
Yeah, the artist.
You said what now?
No. The artist.
Pencil down.
Red flag, man. Don't do it for free.
Flag.
Don't do it for free, man. Unless it's royalties, but you got to get a contract, and even royalties are a little. I don't like royalties. To me, they're a little sketchy. Yeah. So
it's a little iffy if you're an artist, but
yeah.
But, you know, even with our book that we're launching, we have a short story anthology, horror, by the way, and it's already out in paperback, but we're doing a special edition hardcover.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, what do I put in it to show? Because, you know, it's just a book. What can I put on the Indiegogo? So we're going to have artwork at every $500 milestone. One of the 20 stories will get an illustrative artwork to start the whole thing off with. Not a comic page, but just like, you know, the single illustration. And to, you know, do that, I first had to say, well, let's assume we're going to get at least 2 of them and pay for those 2.
Yeah.
So I've got something to show on the campaign. I've got the first 2 illustrations, which, you know, we don't get to them. We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
Yeah.
But you got to spend the money up front sometimes.
Of course you do. Yeah, that's just the way it is. You got to spend money to make money. It's that simple, really. I mean, there's not really a way around it unless you're really lucky. You know, something goes viral for no reason. You know.
Now I'll tell you what you're missing here, Damon, because you've got the sticker for the Quokka.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you've seen what people are doing. If you want to get ahead of the game and see what the movers and shakers in this industry are doing, you need to get a plushie.
Oh, you know, actually, I gotta find out where I would get one. You know, because
I can put you in touch with the right people.
Let's do it. Because a plushie would be cool.
You get a Quokka plushie with, I don't know, it's gonna have like a little blood dribble down its side of the mouth or something.
Yeah, you know, on his little claws, he has a little blood going. It was like bloody claws and stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome. Yeah. No, he'd be the perfect one to make a plushie of, man. This guy's gonna be like the star of the show.
Yeah, he's got the cuteness factor all wrapped up.
Yeah.
And then you just throw a little horror, sort of like the Monty Python Killer Rabbit.
Yeah, and it's also like the kind of like Baby Yoda from Mandalorian. It's like, dude, he's the one who gets all the attention. It's always like the cute thing that gets all the attention.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a shoot 'em up show, and everyone's all about, oh, the little baby.
Yeah, man. All right, so I'll pop this other one up.
Yeah, moving on, Damien says.
Moving on. Moving on.
I'm not drawing Rainbow Bright here. This is a horror book.
Yeah, this is a horror book. We'll get into the real juicy horror now.
Yeah, enough of the cutesy pigtails and ribbons stuff.
All right.
What we got here? Oh, there we go.
You see the shift in tone? I love it.
Yeah.
Think about it.
We're in John Carpenter territory now.
Yeah, it just gets darker for me. This isn't even the darkest one, man. So, all right. First of all, let me ask you, what's your favorite horror movie of all time?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm kind of weird because the most scary thing to me is children. Because like, what can you do to them? They're, you know, if the kid's evil. So one of my favorite horror movies would be Macaulay Culkin's The Good Son. Because he was just this serial killer mentality in a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? You shooting, although, you know, that's the way to save everybody.
Right. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. That's a fair thing. What would you say your second favorite horror movie is?
Oh, let's see. The ones that I'll always stop to watch would be like Pet Cemetery.
So you like
The older one, the one with Fred Gwynn
Yeah.
as the neighbor.
so you like sort of supernatural vibes and stuff like that. You
A little
like
bit of
that?
supernatural vibes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm. It's not really a movie, but I've just found this series called Stranger Things.
It just came out. It's not
Yeah,
not too
I'm
big.
literally-
Not too.
I literally stopped the 4th episode to start the stream up here, so I'm a little bit behind. I'm a little bit behind in my weebery too. I watched trying to get in on what is exciting people about it. So
Mhm.
I've watched the Death Note series, and that's one that should have ended 10 episodes earlier than it did.
I haven't watched the full thing yet. I'm only
Yeah.
halfway through, I think. I don't know.
Halfway through is actually about 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
Because it reaches a point where it's like, yeah, that's really an ending point. But you're going on? Oh no! What are you doing?
It's one of those.
Yeah,
They're like,
and
we're getting too much money.
and for God's sake, whatever you do, don't watch the live action adaptation.
Oh, too late, man. I did. I watched that before I watched the show. Worst mistake. But I was with my friends, so we made fun of it the whole time. So that was kind of fun.
I was joking around on Twitter, and I don't know how many people took me serious, but I was like, "Oh, look, Netflix is telling me this Cowboy Bebop is on here. That looks good." And I've not seen the anime, so I wouldn't know how to judge it.
They can't do adaptations for some reason, man. I don't understand it. I'm like, guys, like even if they have like the best concept ever, they struggle so much to do it. It's like,
Quit trying to adapt a comic and just say, "Here are the storyboards."
exactly. Literally
So,
just
yeah.
do that. Literally copy it. Just that's it. All right. But so we'll get into actually there is supernatural elements here. So hey, Joe Ball, he's on this book here. We'll
Joe
get
Ball's
into
here.
it. Yep.
Allie liked all of the Death Note, beginning and end. The end was okay. It's just that they could have kept the same character toward the end, rather than bringing in that little dude. I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
Mike Walters, glad to see you here. Thank you for liking and sharing. And of course, at the top of the hour, Mike will be launching his niche news over at the mic stand. So when we're done here, pop over there.
Nice. All right. So, yeah, by the way, people, we have Joe Ball in this book. We'll get into his art in a bit. But first, we got the Bloody Blade here. This is like if you took a little bit of Alien 2, a little bit of The Thing.
That's what I'm seeing as the thing.
Yeah, The Thing. And then shoved like Friday the 13th in there. A tactical, task force of killer hunters because they all like, I want you guys to imagine if all of your favorite horror icons, Freddy, Jason, Pinhead, Mike Myers, every one of them existed on one planet, like they would need to have a contingency for that, like it wouldn't
be
just
like a world of killers, so to speak.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how it works?
Oh, wait, I get it now.
No, but exactly. So this team is going to hunt after this unkillable slasher here. And as you can see here, they might have a little bit of a tough time. But it's cool because you guys are going to be able to see what they use against him and what their tactics are against this unstoppable force. And you'll also get a little bit of a dynamic between a like a leader and a general versus like a soldier. So you get a little dynamic there in this story as well. In every one of my stories, even though they're horror, like a lot of people when it comes to horror, they are like all like horror all sucks because it never has story, which to be fair, a lot of it doesn't. But
the same's true about a lot of comics.
Exactly. That's with anything. Like, I mean, a lot of action movies don't have a lot of plot. They just go and do their action. And horror,
don't confuse the vessel for the liquid inside it.
100%. And even though horror is a thing, is a genre where the horror is usually the forefront. It's a pretty big deal, and it should be, because you can tie the horror into the conflict. which is usually what you have to do, because I find that horror is difficult to make deeper than something like a drama or something, obviously. But you can kind of combine elements from each to make this ultimate sort of story. So I like to make people care about the characters so that they actually fear for the character's life, when they're in danger. So that's the goal.
Now, do you how do you feel about the tropes that have come out of the horror industry when you sit down to write your own stuff? For instance, things like First Girl.
Yeah. So here's the thing: you can follow them if you flip it on its head. Usually, it's a little. It's tough because some cliches are there because they work, but it's also a thing where you don't want people to come in being like, "Oh, I already know what's going to happen."
Yeah.
It's the same as every other story. You never want to do that. A story always unfolds. So
that's the best part of Cabin in the Woods, is that everything that's going to happen because they're telling you, oh yeah, this is what happens when we do this.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you want to do. You usually want to flip it on its head, and that's why I try to do as much as possible. But horror is also a genre where it's kind of difficult because a lot of the tropes are laced into the horror aspect of it, if you know what I mean. Like, people expect it. They're like, well, like, for example, I guess you could say, like gore is maybe a trope. I don't know, not really, but it's become sort of a trope now because almost every horror movie now has gore of some kind, especially in the 80s. That's when it started. But
yeah, well, that's because they're like, ooh, we can make it look real. Let's make more.
Yeah. So you can either do it really good or really bad. It's as simple as that, and you just got to do what's best and try to surprise people as much as possible.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why there's this movie I watched 2 months ago for the first time called Yell, Shout, Scream. That's what it was. I'm a bit behind on things, but that's what I liked about the killer in that movie, was that it wasn't this always unstoppable Jason, Freddy kind of force. It's like, oh, he just got his hand caught in the whatever. He's kind of a doofus, but he's getting lucky at things.
Yeah, I think that's especially why the new one was the new Scream was a lot like a reboot.
Oh, they remade it.
Yeah, it was pretty much a remake. That's essentially what it was, which is works for me. I was like, all right, cool. but the first one, it essentially flips every trope on its head. That's like the whole movie. It's like, that's literally what the movie is, which is pretty smart. That was pretty smart on his part for making it like that. But yeah.
Now, has this one just not been lettered yet, or is it intended to be, as Studio 38 is assuming here, silent panels?
Yeah, I did write it. I do have panels. I do have like speech bubbles and stuff. But you know what? I think the visual storytelling tells enough here, to be honest with you. Especially with what happens later, there'll be plenty of that later on. But honestly, here, I'm probably just going to keep it like this. Because it's like, dude, it tells all you need to know. A dude's crawling away from this guy. He pulls out a gun. You're like, oh, shit, this guy's prepared now. It tells you all you need to know. So it's going to be blank. That's what it's going to be.
Here we go. All right. Studio 38, I think you just wrote that page.
Thank you. You're not getting any money for it, but it's all right. And then let me show you guys this one. This one's pretty sick as well. I really dig this one. I think you guys are gonna like this. This is the main one that I feel like a lot of people have seen, but it's because it's so badass that it has to be shown. All right, so this is Akumu, right up here. This lady, that's Akumu.
There's a lady in there? Oh, okay.
yeah, it's a lady. Yeah. This is the psychological horror story, and this one's gonna get real dark. Is all I'm gonna say. This one's gonna you're gonna delve into the mind of a serial killer here. Like, you're literally sort of American Psycho. It's like American Psycho meets Hellraiser, kinda. It's kind of what it's like.
It looks like a kaiju. Come on, that's we're in hell here.
Yeah. So you'll see where it goes. But essentially, you're gonna delve into the mind of this psychopath, and you're gonna watch as his reality crumbles around him. Yeah, Studio 38. You see what I mean? But look at this though. Look at this guy. He's not having a good. He's not having a good time here.
No, he's got this gushing mouthed thing with Wolverine like claws, and this is. I mean, check this out. These are not like coming out of his forearm like Wolverine. They're actually stuck through his damn hand, and he's like, "Oh, I can stick people with these things. Doesn't hurt me, and I'm cool." He played Mumbly Peg and lost, and just walked away with the knives in his hands.
Yeah, and it's cool because everything here on this page almost essentially has a backstory. Obviously, I won't spoil it. So, Doc.
Joe Ball's taking the anti-John Byrne approach to this.
Yeah, man. I mean, Joe's probably having a good time figuring out how to draw all these guys, man. I'm probably going to turn him insane, dude. After he's done with this book, he's going to be like nuts. But
yeah, this is some Simon Bisley level grisliness.
Oh yeah, the whole book is very grisly. I honestly wouldn't even say that this is the most. I mean, this is pretty grisly, but I don't know if this is the most grisly part, to be honest with you.
We're getting a lot of compliments here. Yeah, Hieronymus Bosch would look at this and say, "Damn."
Yeah, this will be the first page. The first. I mean, I could save the best for last though, but I mean, like to me personally, this is my favorite because I love psychological horror the most. That's my favorite thing. You can get really deep with that because you're literally delving into the psychology of the character. You're heading right into the roots of the beliefs of the character instantly, and you can just delve right in. Whereas like other things, you kind of have to build up a little more. You you have to weave the beliefs and philosophical conflict in more rather than psychological horror. It's just like, boom, it's right there. And there's a ton of symbolism you can do with it. If you guys have ever played Silent Hill, there's some of that in here a little bit. Yeah, I love psychological horror. And that's why this is probably going to be the forefront because I want people to open the page and see some gruesome, gruesome stuff, you know?
Hit him in the head with a hammer from the first moment, and then they'll be dazed the rest of the book.
Yeah.
So how big is this book going to be here? Because you've shown us 3 pages from 3 different stories.
Right.
Is it just 3 stories, or are there more that you haven't shown? Or
so, all right. So here's what it's going to be altogether. Yeah, there's more that I haven't shown so far because right now they're being worked on more because the campaign is on May 30th. So I'm having more pages lettered and colored and all that right now. And all of the rewards and stuff like that. They're pretty much all set. They're just being touched up. But essentially, this is going to be a 30-page book altogether at first. But 2 of the stories, like the Bloody Blade, and let me show you this. Oh, well, I already showed you guys. Actually, no, I didn't show you guys. Hold on. Hold on. I'm forgetting what I've shown you guys and what I haven't because I've shown.
Says that must be a reveal page, not a lead-off page.
1 second.
And Silent Hill scares Allie.
It's scary.
You can't leave. That creepy alarm siren. Oh yeah, those stories where you enter the town and you have a flat tire or you get pulled over for speeding in 38 and a 35 zone, and the one I remember one as a kid. It was a short story. They drove into town. The sheriff pulled them over, and all that was like a Mayberry and had the big banner across the road said "Big barbecue tonight."
Yep.
And they were put into the holding cell, and they kept waiting to get out, and it kept getting hotter and hotter. And they were the barbecue.
It's also especially with Silent Hill, it's the fear of the unknown because you're going into a town you know nothing about, right? And speaking of fear of the unknown, this story, so here's how it's going to go. The first 30 pages, Akumu, Killaquoka, you got to have him in there. He's an icon, you know what I'm saying? And then I have another one which is being worked on, which is Flesh and Insects. And essentially, it's sort of like The Fly. It's a body horror story. A woman's like insects have burrowed their way underneath the woman's flesh, and a woman's husband tries to find her the cure. Like it's like a disease essentially. So it's pretty dark. It's actually yeah, and it's also it's all that also plays into the fear of the unknown. It's sort of like The Thing, you know, you're infected in The Thing and stuff like that. So vibes of that, and then there's a lot of romance in it as well, actually. So it's more like a romantic body horror type of thing. But what you're seeing right now is called Intelligence in the Void, and this will be one of the stretch goals. This will be the final stretch goal. So we're gonna start with the first 30 because if we go with all of them, the goal is going to be pretty beefy. It's going to be really high. So I want to be able to reach it with at least the first 30 pages. You know what I mean? So if it doesn't get all the way, we at least still have those 30 pages that we can release. And then we can always do these stories in like World of Killers too. You know? So either way, though, I'd like to get them all in the book so it can be 50 pages instead of 30 pages.
Bigger the better.
Damn right. But
so she looks like some sort of a telepresence in this representation.
So essentially here, this is an astronaut that has been sent to space because they've been getting, you know, a little weird signals from it. You know, from the darkest depths of the galaxy, they've been getting some odd messages and stuff like that. I don't want to spoil what happens before this, but yeah, she is in sort of like a void state right now. You know, so as you can read here, boom, boom, her oxygen is running low, you know, and then she says no, and she wakes up in this sort of like skin sack.
Ooh.
Yeah, she wakes up in a skin sack, and she, you know, she's like fighting to stay awake, and her name's Destiny, by the way, and then she awakens to something.
Yeah, I always love those stories where it's like, that deep, dark, scary area over there, there's a signal. Go find out what it is. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Drones.
And they're also, like, all of these stories are fully written, pretty much. This story is going to deal a lot with family and what you would do for them and stuff like that. So there's interesting elements there, but the biggest fear factor I want to play into here is the fear of the unknown. Obviously, I mean, you could tell it straight from all of this.
Yeah.
I
like all the different styles. I mean, there's sometimes we used to get anthologies from Vertigo when Vertigo tried to do anthologies. You'd have the two good stories, and then you'd have like the not ready for primetime artists who were doing their thing. But these are all top quality representations of art here.
Yeah, this one especially. Have you ever heard of Junji Ito? He's like a manga horror artist and writer,
Okay.
I think.
I was going to say, I have heard of Judge Ito. He was the guy who presided over the O.J. Simpson trial.
No. So have you ever seen like the Spiral artwork?
Oh,
Spiral face? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So this guy's artwork, especially when you see the creatures and stuff like that, is very similar to that. It's very Junji Ito-esque, and I was like, that's cool. I love Junji Ito's style and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this fits. And Junji Ito plays into the fear of the unknown a lot. So that's kind of.
So that's the second manga influence you've mentioned on this book. Now, of course, Alejandro was asking about your Spawn collection, how Spawn influences. But the thing about comics is that, if you're reading a bunch of them, they all kind of coalesce and form a new thing in your head.
100%. They definitely all bind together. No question. I mean, I've watched so many movies, played so many games, done so, like I've engulfed so much media that it all just like blends together, and then that's because honestly nowadays I forgot what philosopher it was, but they said nothing you like nothing's original under the sun or something like that, and like that was like
the Bible.
that was the Bible. There you go. That's like, how many years ago was that, And I would say it's even more true now. Like, you really can't make anything truly original without combining elements of something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always an element of, especially nowadays, because there's so much out. It's the odds of you making something truly original nowadays that hasn't been done in any form of media
And that's why every review is always like, well, what's this movie like? Well, it's like this meets this with a little bit of that.
Exactly.
And you're always referring to things that came before it.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, really. I mean, it's just because there's always it's the story and the inner workings of it, and it's also the different elements coming together that do create something totally unique as well. So yeah, Alejandro, to answer your question, not much Spawn influence on this one, really. Maybe the creatures that, not really. Spawn doesn't have creatures that are that scary. I would say those creatures.
Nothing on that guy.
Yeah, no, I would say those creatures were more Silent Hill, Berserk inspired types of things. It sounds like I read like a ton of manga. The only manga I've ever read is like Berserk, Junji Ito stuff, and like
Berserk is a ton of manga. Come on.
Okay, yeah, well, true. That is true. That's all I need, man. That thing's like, I don't even know how many
issues long.
Yeah, dude, that's all I need, man. I've got my fill on manga. I'm good. But yeah, no, because Grandpa was very Spawn inspired, kinda. But this one is more, I don't know. It's just an amalgamation of different horror movies, games, and all that stuff. And comics.
Okay, so here's the thing now I want to get to, because you brought up Grandpa again. We've seen, the three different stories you've shown here. They're very much three different genres. And we have, this throwing in this astronaut here that doesn't seem like present day. So you said at the beginning that this all happens on the same plane of existence, so to speak.
Same universe. Yep.
Different times, maybe, but I mean, how does this astronaut story tie into the Quokka story, tie into the Grandpa universe? Where's the connective tissue to all of this?
So I don't want to spoil too much, but what I will say is that they're in each storyline, they essentially have a connected character, and he links them all together pretty much. And as for Grandpa, that's kind of a spoiler, so I don't want to say it, but it'll be in the Akumu storyline. That's what I'll say. It'll be in the Akumu storyline mainly. So
he has a crypt keeper introducing all the stories, and it's Grandpa. No, I hope that's not it, because then I just spoiled everything.
No.
Total shot in the dark.
No, you got it exactly. No.
I've done that, actually.
Really?
I was interviewing the guys who do, not that one, Hocus Hocus. And you can see at the top there's a little rabbit that looks over there. He's a magical pink bunny. And from the very first issue, I was like, so when does the rabbit talk? And they were like, oh no, he doesn't talk. And the third issue comes out, and I'm like, you sons of bitches. Like, I know.
Either you gave them the idea, or
no, they flat out told me, said we had to lie to you because we didn't want anybody to know.
That's awesome.
We were looking at each other like, "Hi, what do we tell him?" Just say no.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that happens sometimes. You just got to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people get predictions right, But
so you're gonna launch this on the 30th. This is this Indiegogo or Kickstarter? Because there's no pre-page yet.
Indiegogo. That's where it's gonna be. If you look on the trailer, it says Indiegogo at the end. Should probably, yeah. So so it'll be on Indiegogo May 30th. We're gonna have a collection of rewards. We got a box set, which is pretty cool. We will have it essentially has like a picture of the main killer from Akumu, the main psycho that you're in the head of, and he's like walking in the woods with his knife out, and he's like walking towards the camera essentially. So, and the autumn leaves are falling around him. It's pretty sick. Not gonna lie, but yeah, we're gonna have a box art. We have trading cards. We're gonna have sketch cards by Joe Ball. We're gonna have the iconic Quokka sticker. We might have a plushie now.
Get the Quokka plushie. Your serial killer's got to have a chibi sticker. Get the right people to draw that up now, because there's nothing more fun than a cute little representation of a mass serial killer.
That's true. That's true.
So this is. Do you have a price point in mind?
Right.
Or, let's just talk like just the book. I know you're going to have different tiers, different prices for all that stuff, but for people who's like, I want this book, how much is the book?
Main book, the 30-page book. Here's what I will say. You bastards better get in early. You know why? Because guess what? In the beginning, it's going to be like 45% off. Like, I'm not even joking. So, like, you're pretty much going to steal it from me. But it's going to be only $15, and you're also going to get the digital edition, obviously. And
that's almost a given these days.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I feel like when they don't include it, it's like, why do you not have a digital edition? You got to have both. You know what I mean? Because some people, they don't. I mean, I feel like this is a rare minority of people, but some people want to just keep the comic as a collection piece and not open it, and then like seal it or grade it or whatever, and then they'll just go and read the digital. So you got to have both in there. So yeah.
And by the way, your digital has to be a PDF.
Yes.
I've known a few people and who've done the digital, and it turned out that the digital was, here's your access code to the website upon which the thing resides, and you read it there every time you want to read it.
Yeah.
Don't download. People don't like that.
I see why they do that, because they want to prevent piracy, but it's like, bro, if they want to pirate it, they're going to do it anyway. Like, you cannot stop it. It's very easy. I promise you that. It's very easy.
Print screen.
That's it. That's all you got to do. It's like, you can't really stop it, so you might as well just give them the access through the PDF. That's it.
Here's the thing I know about piracy.
Mm-hmm.
The harder you make it to pirate, the more you've challenged them.
That's true. That's exactly
if
how
it's just a PDF, they're like, oh, everybody's grabbed this thing. It's PDF. People sharing it all over the place. What am I going to do it for? But if you lock it up, oh, they've got to prove their mad skills now.
Yeah, it's exactly what's going to happen. It's like you're poking the bear, you know?
Exactly.
And, I mean, that works with anything, really. Like, works with film, too. Film is a little tougher, but that does apply as well. It's kind of...
You want to prevent piracy? Make it free.
There you go, you know? Yeah. But yeah,
so launching, we said the 30th. That is not today's Monday. So that would be next Monday, Memorial Day.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all are going to be home doing nothing, having a couple of these and some hot dogs and brats.
Exactly.
While you're in there doing that, pop in the living room while everyone's outside, and just say click, 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 $15. Get yourself a 30 to 50 page comic. Here's the thing: you're buying a 30-page comic, but you might get a 50-page comic.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say get in early, because if it turns to 50 pages, man, might beef up a little.
Close that tier and open the next one.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's gonna close out, so you got to get in early. And once you get in early, you're all set. Now you could potentially have, like you said, a 50-page comic, and you paid $15, and you're good.
You mentioned the box set here. Does that mean that people are going to have access to people who didn't get Grandpa the first time around? Is there a catch-up tier?
So I'm going to save that for Grandpa issue number 2.
Okay.
When we do that.
Good call.
Yeah, because I feel like this one, it would be like weird to have them both side by side. People would be like, why is this like steampunk fantasy book here with this thing?
Yet they're connected.
Yeah, they are interconnected, but people are going to be like, what is this? You know what I mean? So I'd rather just put it in with Grandpa issue 2, because it's just easier that way. It just makes sense. And, people, I feel like the titles would conflict too. People would be like, what is Grandpa? What is this? You know what I mean? So it'd be nice to just have Grandpa 1 and 2. And then, if you want to get, we're building a website right now. We're building a website. I got a website developer working on it, and you'll be able to buy Grandpa digital if you want. You'll be able to buy this when it comes out digital. I'm going to start uploading my films on there and stuff like that. So you'll be able to buy all you need from there and check out the stuff we make too.
You got to reach out to the people who do the Pocus Hocus book for some sort of a, not necessarily a crossover book, but crossover promotion.
Yeah.
Because they're launching a new book that is all horror. And so when you do Grandpa, they will probably be getting ready to do their book, which is called Chainsaw Grandma.
Think about it, dude. There you go. That's what I'm gonna do. Then.
And you know, you don't even have to do book. I've seen people do these great crossovers where like, hey, if you back this book and this book, then one of us will be delivering to you a poster that shows both the characters on it. So, you know, you can have grandpa and grandma doing things. Alan, I've not shared this with you at all. I know that. So when Damien reaches out to you and mentions my name, don't go texting me and saying, "What are you doing?" Right?
What are you doing? Come on. I don't want this guy. No. I'll reach out to him, though. I'll definitely. I think, especially if he sees the grandpa issue, too, and grandpa issue on stuff, I think they might. It depends on what their grandma is like, I guess. But either way, it works.
She's got a chainsaw.
There you go. There you go. Okay, works for me, man. I mean, it fits perfectly. Don't worry. The grandpa's a dark story too, so it works out.
Excellent. Well, we are at the top of the hour, so Damien, I would like to thank you for coming on the show. This has been a fun discussion. I like talking comics with people who are excited about comics and the work that they're doing in them. Didn't get a chance to talk about the short films at all, but you know, our site is more than a comic book site. Actually, we started off reviewing movies and DVDs and books and music, and you know, if it was entertainment, we were here for it.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you do start to do the next work on promoting film, hit us up. We'll talk about film. We've had independent film producers on here before, and you know, interviewed the entire cast of horror films. It's been a fun time. It's we don't do that nearly enough. The crowdfunding really does overshadow everything else we do here, but it's fun and it keeps us on the air every night.
Yeah, I
folks
would
in the chat. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I would love to hop in again and show off all the short film stuff because we'll have plenty of cool stuff coming in the future. So here's what we're gonna do. So we got this Akumu thing coming out. Should be relatively soon. Just working on the sound design now. Then after that, we're going to do another horror-related thing because I love horror. As you guys can tell, that's like my favorite genre. But I do delve into other things because the next one after that will be a noir action drama type of thing. So those are the 3 films we have in line. And then I guess I could hop on any one of those, really, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll talk about movies and how people can find them and watch them and what it's about and, you know, bring the team on because especially with a movie, it's not just you.
No. Well, that one was Akumu was, and the reason why is because everyone like was sick or couldn't come. Man, so I had to do everyone's job at once. But
like the actors?
Well, I didn't act. Okay.
Okay.
So I had 2 actresses, and I did everything else, like the lighting, the focus pulling, the camera work, the sound, like I did everything. So, and like the shot listing and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, brain's kind of melting, but it was a good experience because, you know, it's nice to get overloaded and then it makes everything else look easy when you have a team.
That was a thing of necessity though. But I was going to say the only movie I ever gave an F to, because I'm like, there's always something good about a movie. It was, I won't even say the name of the film anymore because I don't want the guy to think I'm coming after him. You know, 15 to 20 years later, God, it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But it was written, directed, starring, filmed, photography, scored, and soundtracked by the same guy. I mean, he was singing the songs. He wrote the movie. I was like, dude, this was an easy trip for you in a major way.
I mean, I might know what you're talking about. Was it recent?
No, it was long. It was Angel Blade.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I was like, I thought you were talking about Bo Burnham for a second. I was like, that was very good. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, this was different.
But yeah, no. Bo Burnham essentially kind of did that, and he like, if you watch it on Netflix, it's like his thing. But essentially, especially acting in your own movie, that's hard. I was like, there's no way. I suck at acting, so I'm like, I ain't doing that. No way. So they showed up, and it was all good.
You do a lot of gore with your short films, or?
So for this one, we do have a little bit of gore because it's Akumu, as you can see. So she's a little gory. She looks the same as she does there, like in the comic there, as she does in the movie.
Wow.
So it translates the same. It's pretty cool.
Got to see it then.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, it's gotten dark outside your window.
Yep.
Go to bed. So thanks for coming on. Folks in the chat, appreciate you being here. As always, we don't have a show if you're not here to watch it, so we need you to be here. Show up tomorrow when we have Stokes the Rider on. I bet we're going to be talking about some Smokes the Bach and Weaponized Werewolf. And then Wednesday, I have no idea when we're going to start, so just pay attention on Wednesday. But I do know that at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will have Max DeVille. 2 p.m., John from Beyond. 3 p.m., my favorite cosplayer and entrepreneur, Kara Nicole, also known as Arizona Power Girl. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, we will have Alan Johnson on for Kaiju Mania. So, and we're filling in the rest of the slots as we go along. So definitely please be there. Yeah, it's my mouse pad.
Yeah, I was like,
on the wrists.
I was like, is that a mouse pad, man? Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why you got that mouse pad. I don't know.
Well, because it's very, very comfortable on the wrist right there.
Right.
It's ergonomic.
Of course.
And I'll be sitting here working sometimes with my hand. What is my hand doing right there? Come on. Anyway, guys, while you were here, as always, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.
Oh, yeah.